The clothing import menu is for importing clothing or new base models. This is the display of the base model. We can choose to see it with the boy or girl base model. We use this display character to properly place the imported clothing or imported base model. When we import something, we can define which gender it is for, and the display model will automatically update to it. Then we can choose which kind of clothing this is, or if it is a base model. There's also this option here. We can toggle it to switch between bones and clipping. On the bones section, we can test an animation to see if the model is properly attached. By default, the model doesn't come attached, so we can attach it manually or we can press the auto button. The auto button will try to detect which bones should be the correct ones. It should even work with models that don't have the same skeleton of the game, for example MMD models. I've already tested it with MMD models and it worked well, although there's something I'd like to mention. Normally skeletons have two root leg bones. One is for the left leg and another one is for the right leg. But sometimes MMD skeletons come with 4 root leg bones, 2 for each side. Sometimes the actual leg is rigged to the correct bone, but sometimes it's rigged to the other bone instead. So you should always test, and if it isn't right, then you'll need to manually choose the right one. Maybe on another build I can add an option for importing MMD models better. Well, once we have the model properly attached, we should define which areas of the base model it hides. This is to solve the clothing clipping issue that I had shown before. For example, if this would be a pair of pants, then it would hide the legs. But as this is a coat, then it should hide the torso and arms instead. Well, on the character editor, the shape menu has looked like this. In this way, it would only access the shapes that were already predefined on the menu. Some clothings or base models come with different shapes, so I've updated the shape menu to look like this. Now it lists every shape it found within the models. MMD models in specific come with many shapes, so they will all be accessible in here. One of the things that's also on Anime Life Simulator's to-do list is character socializing. That will be the conversations that you can have with characters or that characters can have with other characters. In order to add socializing, I'm going to make many more facial expressions using shapes. So it will also be possible to access shapes by the conversation files. It's possible to retarget bones from imported models, but this retargeter is placeholder. There is a big difference between this retargeter and the final retargeter. Right now, we change the imported skeleton to fit the game skeleton. But on the final retargeter, we should change the game skeleton to fit the imported skeleton. MMD skeletons, for example, have much different proportions from the game skeleton. The hips bone is much higher, for example. So some base models will look a little deformed if you try to use them with the current retargeter. We can add this feature to the game's to-do list. Well, every imported asset has its information written on a text file. If you want to share some imported models with your friends, you can send them the files that contain the objects and this text file, so that the model will be automatically imported when your friends add them to the game. One thing is that it would be very easy for someone to open the text file and change the credits name to someone else, or someone else could just take your models and use them without your permission. So on the importer menu, I've added the pack menu. Here we can select from any of the models in the game and add them to a pack file. Once we finish the pack file, all the models we added to them will be inside a single file that only Anime Life Sim can use. Like this, other people can't edit or take your models. To share your packed models, you just need to share this single file and add them inside the assets folder. The game will recognize that it's a packed file and import its assets. Sometimes when you just imported something using the importer menu, it might not show up on the lists, even on the pack list. So until the importer menu is more improved, I recommend you to restart the game after using the import menu. Putting your model files in the model folder is easy and convenient. But because the importer can't import from models properly yet, then we can use bundles. To create bundles, you need Unity. After getting over its license files, you need to drag and drop this file into it. I'll leave it in the description. And then you can now drag and drop your models and texture files to here. Then you can drag and drop a model into here. And then when you select it, in this menu, the materials should be visible. If they aren't, then keep clicking on the object again until they are. You can open or close these. Then you can drag and drop textures into here. For now, just choose the Unlit Texture option. Once your model is ready to be bundled, select it, and then from here, drag and drop it into here. Now with that object selected, you can go here and pull this up. Here is where you write the file name of the bundle file. And here just write bundle. You can then do this for any other models you want. You can put several objects into the same bundle file. After that, just right click somewhere and press the option to create bundles. Now the file is being created. Sometimes it might take a few seconds, but sometimes it might take half an hour. Once it's done, the bundle file will appear in here. It has this icon. You can right click on it and select Show in Explorer. And here is your bundle file. Currently, the in-game animation creator is not very good, so I'll add to the game's to-do list the ability to use the importer menu to import animations as well. Something I'd like to add to the game is a simple way to put custom skins on characters, like custom textures for clothing or for the base model. So let's add that as improvements to the character editor on the to-do list. There's something I'd like to mention. On the new game menu, you can choose which town you want to start the game on. Right now the town editor isn't implemented yet, so you can only choose this town for now. And you will be able of choosing how many random characters will live on the town by default. But if you choose this town, then there will be some default characters that will already live there. I plan to add about 30 default characters, 15 boys and 15 girls. All of these characters will already come with their own conversation dialogues, custom events, side quests, and unique backstories. Making all the things for each of them is something that will still take a long time. But until then, right now, I can perfectly just put them present in the game, just wandering around. Some of them are already present in the game, and others are ready to be put in the game. But there's something unallowing me from adding half of these characters. That thing is, I find it quite hard to model boy hair. If you are a modeler that can model boy hair, it would be very helpful if you could model some boy hairs for Anime Life Simulator. For some time now, there's been this game mode that I've been wanting to add to Anime Life Sim. It's like a side story or side adventure. It will be an hidden Easter egg. You can know it exists and you can know what's it about, but I will not say how to get there or how it will be like. I've already thought a lot about it, but I haven't actually started to make much of it. That's because it will take me time that I can use to implement other things. But let's add it to the to-do list anyway. For a while now, I have actually already been showing you a few parts of it. You just never noticed them. When I implement a new location, I usually show every new room and new models. But I think that maybe I should only show a little of it and let you explore the new locations yourself. On the description, I left a poll with some of the items in the game's to-do list, where you can choose which feature you'd like me to focus on next. Bye.